many years, the Louis Vuitton origin story has been carefully crafted to show the ultimate rags to riches tale. Born in 1821 to a poor family in the small village of Angers in eastern France, Louis Vuitton had a hard early life. After his mother died when he was 10, his relationship with his stepmother got very bad. Then came the moment that would shape the brand's myth. In 1835, at just 13 years old, young Louis made a big decision that sounds almost too good to be true. He packed his few things and left home on foot, wanting to reach Paris. This was a hard journey of over 470 kilometers through the French countryside. This tough trek took more than 2 years, as he survived by working small jobs in villages along the way. When he finally reached Paris in 1837, the 16-year-old Louis began a 17-year job learning from Monsieur Maréchal, a respected boxmaker. In 19th century Europe, skilled craftsmen who could design custom trunks for rich travelers were in high demand. Louis Vuitton's big break came in 1853 when he got the important job of personal boxmaker for Empress Eugénie de Montijo, wife of Napoleon III. This royal connection changed his luck overnight, giving him access to France's richest people. By 1854, at age 33, he had set up his own workshop near Place Vendôme in Paris. This was the start of what would become a global luxury empire. This origin story serves an important purpose. It sets up the brand as being built on great craftsmanship, strong determination, and special connections. But as we'll see, the path from simple trunk maker to global luxury company involved much more than just good products and hard work. The manufacturing myth unravels for years. Louis Vuitton has built an image of careful hand craftsmanship. Their ads show skilled workers in Paris workshops, making each piece by hand. The company claims their famous trunks take up to 60 hours to finish. This story sounds great until you look at what's really happening in their factories. While the historic Asnières workshop serves as a perfect backdrop for marketing videos, most Louis Vuitton products are mass-produced in factories across France, Spain, Italy, and the United States. The production network has grown to meet huge consumer demand. Industry insiders tell a troubling story. The actual making process relies heavily on modern factory methods. Assembly lines, machine cutting, and industrial sewing machines do most of the work. Handcrafting has given way to speed and scale. In 2019, Louis Vuitton opened a new factory in Texas, claiming to bring French craftsmanship to America. What they didn't publicize were the significant problems that followed. Reports from former workers reveal a concerning reality. The Texas facility has struggled with productivity issues and material waste. Workers describe a factory floor with frequent quality control problems, including errors in cutting, preparation, and assembly. Expensive leather is often thrown away due to manufacturing defects. One former worker reported, "We were throwing away good materials because of small flaws. The waste was shocking, and bosses just kept pushing for more production, faster work, with little care for quality." While Louis Vuitton claims every bag meets the same standards regardless of which factory makes it, these insider accounts suggest otherwise. Quality issues have become more common as production expands to meet growing demand. When you pay thousands for that Louis Vuitton bag, are you really getting handcrafted French luxury, or just another mass-produced product with clever marketing? The most carefully guarded secret in Louis Vuitton's empire is how much money they make on each sale. What they don't want shoppers to know is just how huge the markup is on every product they sell. Louis Vuitton uses what experts call premium pricing, putting themselves at the top of the luxury market with prices that keep going up year after year. The key is their integrity pricing rule. They never have sales, discounts, or outlet stores. This creates the feeling that their products never lose value. But what's behind those very high price tags? While Louis Vuitton points to top materials and skilled work, the real numbers tell a different story. Industry insiders reveal that making a Louis Vuitton bag, including all materials and work, costs just 10 to 20% of the final store price. This means a $2,000 handbag might cost as little as $200 to $400 to make. The other 80 to 90% is profit and marketing costs. One former manufacturing boss said, "The markup in luxury is beyond what most shoppers could imagine. It's normal for a bag that costs $300 to make to sell for 10 times that amount." The pricing strategy goes beyond simple markup. Louis Vuitton regularly raises prices on their famous bags. The popular Neverfull tote went from about $1,500 in 2021 to over $2,030 in 2024. The classic Speedy 30 increased from $1,350 to $1,700 in the same time. These aren't due to higher costs or inflation, they're planned moves to boost profits while making buyers think the bags are growing in value. It's a clever mind trick. Shoppers feel their purchase is an investment rather than spending. For a brand built on quality and craftsmanship, the truth is that you're paying mainly for the logo, the marketing, and the shopping experience, not the materials or work that went into making the product. And if you think the pricing is questionable, wait until you hear about Louis Vuitton's darkest chapter, one they've spent decades trying to erase from memory. While Louis Vuitton shows an image of timeless style and class, there's a troubling chapter in its history that has been erased from its polished brand story. During the Nazi control of France in World War II, when many French businesses faced impossible choices, the Vuitton family made decisions that went beyond just trying to survive. As written in the book Louis Vuitton, a French saga by Stephanie Bonvicini, members of the Vuitton family actively worked with the Vichy government, the puppet government that worked directly with the Nazi occupiers. The proof is strong. The company didn't just stay open during the occupation, they did very well. While many French citizens suffered under harsh occupation, the Vuitton business grew through its partnership with the German authorities. Most troubling of all, Louis Vuitton built a special factory that made items praising Marshal Pétain, the head of France's helper government, who was later found guilty of treason. The factory was located in Agnières-sur-Seine, the very same place that today serves as the brand's heritage showplace and private museum. This historical site, celebrated in company marketing as the heart of Louis Vuitton craftsmanship, leaves out its wartime activities from tours and marketing materials. Historian Henri Rousseau, an expert on Vichy France, noted the economic teamwork of certain French companies during this time went far beyond what was needed for survival. Some saw opportunity in the new regime. While many French businesses were forced to work with occupying forces under threat, evidence suggests the Vuitton family's collaboration was willing. This wasn't just following orders, it was active partnership with a regime responsible for sending over 75,000 French Jews to death camps. This dark historical link remains a shadow in the brand's past, yet it is nowhere to be found in the heritage story Louis Vuitton presents in its museums, ads, and brand storytelling. When asked about this history, the company has repeatedly refused to comment. The ethical questions around Louis Vuitton don't end with its wartime activities. The pattern of putting profit above principle continues to this day. While Louis Vuitton shows glossy pictures of happy craftspeople in beautiful workshops, the truth for many workers in their global supply chain tells a different story. As the company has grown to meet ever-rising demand, ethical problems have grown too. Groups that check brand ethics have given Louis Vuitton very bad scores for how they treat workers and supply chain transparency. Good on You, a leading ethical rating platform, has given Louis Vuitton its lowest possible rating for labor practices, saying there is not enough proof that the company pays living wages across its production units. The contrast is stark. Louis Vuitton makes billions in profit, while many workers making its goods struggle to meet basic needs. A 2023 investigation into leather workshops supplying Louis Vuitton found workers earning as little as $3 per hour in some places, working in conditions far different from the nice workshops shown in their ads. One former supply chain boss told reporters, "There's huge pressure to keep costs down. The luxury image buyers pay for doesn't mean luxury working conditions for those making the products." The environmental impact is just as troubling. Despite growing awareness of green issues, Louis Vuitton continues to use exotic animal skins and fur, practices condemned by animal welfare groups worldwide. The sourcing of these materials has been linked to habitat destruction and endangering species. Perhaps most disturbing is the brand's practice of destroying unsold merchandise. This is a common strategy among luxury brands to maintain exclusivity and prevent products from being sold at lower prices. Rather than donating or recycling these items, Louis Vuitton has been caught burning perfectly usable bags, clothing, and accessories worth millions of dollars. In 2018 alone, parent company LVMH reportedly destroyed over $30 million worth of unsold goods. This practice creates significant pollution and waste while showing the troubling values at the heart of the luxury business model. Fake scarcity is more important than environmental care. As climate awareness grows among shoppers, this wasteful practice could become a serious problem for Louis Vuitton's image of timeless quality. For many years, Louis Vuitton built its name on great quality and famous durability. Old trunks from the early 1900s still work perfectly today, showing the craftsmanship that once defined the brand. But a troubling change has happened as production has grown and profit has become the main focus. The truth truth will shock buyers who think they're investing in top quality items. The brand's most famous product line, the monogram canvas bags, aren't even made mostly of leather. The material that commands premium prices is actually PVC-coated cotton, a man-made mix that costs much less than real leather to make. Yet these canvas bags are priced like full leather luxury bags from other brands. This might be okay if the quality stayed great, but evidence suggests otherwise. Online luxury forums and customer reviews are filled with complaints about serious quality issues. Canvas that peels or cracks within months, hardware that turns green, stitching that comes apart too soon, and handles that wear through with normal use. One customer who bought a $2,100 Neverfull tote reported, after just 6 months of light use, the canvas began cracking at the corners and the inside lining started to peel. When I brought it to the store, they told me this was normal wear and tear and not covered under warranty. These quality problems have gotten worse as production has ramped up to meet global demand. Comparing old Louis Vuitton pieces with their newer version shows alarming differences in materials, construction methods, and overall durability. When customers bring these issues to Louis Vuitton stores, they face another shock. Repair costs are often very high, sometimes reaching 40 to 50% of the price of a new item. A replacement strap can cost $300 to $400, while a simple inside lining replacement might run $250. For a brand that justifies its high prices based on quality and durability, these issues raise big questions about the value Louis Vuitton offers. The declining quality creates a serious crisis for a brand built on the promise of top craftsmanship. As production continues to grow and profit margins remain the driving force, can Louis Vuitton keep the quality that justified its premium in the first place? The evidence suggests the answer is increasingly no. The counterfeiting paradox. The Louis Vuitton monogram pattern is the most copied luxury design in history. From street markets in Bangkok to fancy online sellers, fake Louis Vuitton bags flood global markets at an estimated rate of over $450 million each year, despite the company's tough legal stance and millions spent fighting fakes. The problem keeps growing fast. What most shoppers don't realize is that this counterfeiting problem is partly caused by Louis Vuitton's own business practices. By keeping very high prices and firmly refusing to offer sales, discounts, or outlet stores, the company has created a huge gap between what consumers want and what they can afford. This gap is quickly filled by counterfeiters. The math is simple. When shoppers face the choice between a real $2,000 handbag or a similar looking fake for $50 to $100, many choose the fake. For Louis Vuitton, this is a self-created problem. Their pricing strategy basically guarantees a strong fake market. But here's where the situation gets truly puzzling. Evidence suggests the counterfeiting problem actually helps Louis Vuitton in several ways. The flood of fake products around the world has made real items seem even more exclusive and desirable to status-conscious shoppers willing to pay premium prices. Marketing professor Scott Galloway explained this strange dynamic. The counterfeiting paradox is that brands like Louis Vuitton fight fakes strongly while also benefiting from their existence. Counterfeits serve as walking advertisements and aspirational marketing to consumers who might eventually buy the real thing. This creates an odd relationship. Counterfeiters profit from Louis Vuitton's brand value, while Louis Vuitton indirectly benefits from the increased visibility and status that counterfeits provide. It's a complex relationship that goes beyond simple theft of designs. Meanwhile, in a move that makes no economic sense, Louis Vuitton regularly destroys millions of dollars worth of unsold real merchandise rather than selling these items at lower prices. This practice, burning perfectly good products to maintain fake scarcity, reveals the company's true priority, keeping the illusion of exclusivity at any cost, even if it means fueling the very fake market they claim to fight. The legal battleground, Louis Vuitton's approach to brand protection goes far beyond normal business practice. They are known for using some of the most aggressive legal tactics in the business world. The company keeps a huge legal department and network of lawyers whose only job is to chase after perceived violations with extreme zeal. The numbers are striking. Louis Vuitton starts hundreds of lawsuits each year, going after everyone from small market sellers to major international companies. The company spends an estimated $100 million yearly on anti-counterfeiting efforts alone, more than some luxury brands' entire marketing budgets. This legal aggression often goes into territory that many legal experts consider too far. In one famous case, Louis Vuitton sued Warner Brothers over a scene in The Hangover Part 2 that showed a character with counterfeit luggage. The lawsuit claimed this brief, funny scene would confuse consumers about real real Louis Vuitton products. This claim was so weak that a federal judge dismissed it, calling the legal action objectively unreasonable. Even more troubling is Louis Vuitton's pattern of targeting artists and creative professionals who reference or reinterpret the brand's famous imagery. When artist Nadia Plesner included a Louis Vuitton-inspired bag in a painting bringing attention to the Darfur genocide, the company sued her rather than recognizing the artistic commentary. Similarly, when small businesses create parodies or artistic works that include Louis Vuitton patterns, they often face overwhelming legal pressure designed to force them to stop through financial intimidation. Intellectual property lawyer Rebecca Tushnet notes, Louis Vuitton has developed a reputation for being particularly aggressive, even in cases where fair use or artistic expression would likely win in court. The strategy often seems designed to create a chilling effect. These heavy-handed legal tactics have frequently backfired, creating negative publicity and public backlash. For a company that presents itself as a patron of the arts through foundation work and artist collaborations, these contradictions reveal a troubling double standard. Artistic expression is celebrated only when it serves the brand's commercial interests. The underlying message is clear. Louis Vuitton's main concern isn't balanced intellectual property protection, but rather maintaining absolute control over its image, regardless of the legal or ethical implications. Today, Louis Vuitton stands as the main brand of LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, the world's largest luxury goods group with a market value of over $400 billion. Despite the controversies and ethical questions surrounding it, the brand continues to do very well financially, with yearly revenue approaching $20 billion, making it one of the most profitable luxury brands in history. What explains this lasting success despite the brand's questionable practices? The answer lies in Louis Vuitton's masterful marketing and mind tricks. By controlling every part of its public image, from advertising to celebrity deals to store design, Louis Vuitton has created an aura of exclusivity and desirability that goes beyond practical concerns of value or ethics. The company has successfully positioned its products not just as luxury items, but as cultural symbols that communicate status, wealth, and social position. This change from product to symbol explains why consumers continue to pay premium prices despite growing awareness of quality issues and ethical concerns. The COVID-19 pandemic, rather than hurting Louis Vuitton's growth, actually sped it up. While many luxury competitors struggled with store closures and reduced tourism, Louis Vuitton's profits soared to record levels. In 2023, LVMH reported that Louis Vuitton alone generated over $20 billion in revenue, a 20% increase from pre-pandemic levels. This financial success hides deeper structural challenges. As younger shoppers increasingly prioritize sustainability, ethical production, and authenticity, Louis Vuitton faces a growing disconnect between its marketing story and its actual practices. Gen Z consumers in particular show less brand loyalty and greater concern for environmental and social impacts than previous generations. The brand has tried to address these shifts through strategic moves, launching eco-friendly collections, announcing carbon neutrality goals, and highlighting heritage craftsmanship. Yet these efforts often amount to what critics call greenwashing, surface changes that fail to address the fundamental contradictions at the heart of the business model. Industry analyst Jacques Laurent observes, Louis Vuitton is at a crossroads. Their traditional business model, built on exclusivity, aspirational marketing, and premium pricing, is increasingly at odds with the values of younger luxury consumers who demand transparency, sustainability, and authentic purpose. The question is whether they can adapt without sacrificing the profit margins their parent company has come to expect. For now, Louis Vuitton continues to thrive by maintaining the illusion of exclusivity and craftsmanship while operating as a highly efficient global machine for extracting maximum profit. But as consumer consciousness evolves, this approach may prove increasingly difficult to sustain. From its humble beginnings with a 13-year-old boy walking 470 kilometers to Paris to a global empire worth hundreds of billions, Louis Vuitton's story is far more complex and troubling than the polished image it shows to the world. The high prices you pay for Louis Vuitton products aren't mainly about great materials or craftsmanship. They're about funding a marketing machine that has mastered the art of selling ordinary products at extraordinary prices. When you buy a Louis Vuitton bag, you're not simply buying a luxury item, you're buying into a carefully built illusion. This is the basic truth that Louis Vuitton doesn't want shoppers to know. The brand's entire business model depends on keeping a gap between perception and reality. The perception is of handcrafted French luxury, timeless quality, and exclusive prestige. The reality is mass production, declining quality, questionable ethics, and profit margins that would make even Wall Street blush. reach. As we've seen, this gap exists across every part of the business. Manufacturing. The romantic image of French artisans handcrafting each piece versus the reality of global factories with production line efficiency pricing. The suggestion that high prices reflect real value versus the reality of 80 to 90% profit margins. Quality. The promise of heirloom durability versus the growing evidence of declining standards. Ethics. The projection of refined class versus a troubling history and questionable labor practices. Sustainability. The claims of environmental responsibility versus the practice of destroying unsold merchandise. For a generation of luxury shoppers who have only known Louis Vuitton as the peak of prestige, this reality check is more than a financial consideration. It's an identity crisis. The promise that buying luxury shows discerning taste and knowledge now rings hollow in the face of mounting evidence. The luxury industry stands at a crossroads. Shoppers increasingly demand substance behind the style, ethics behind the looks, and true value behind the price tag. The question isn't whether Louis Vuitton can continue selling expensive products. It's whether they can continue selling the illusion that justifies those prices. Next time you're tempted by that famous monogram, ask yourself, are you investing in great quality and craftsmanship, or are you simply funding a marketing machine that has perfected the art of turning ordinary materials into extraordinary profits? The choice, as they say in fashion, is yours to make.